A while back in junior high, after completing my first playthrough of Breath of the Wild, I thought open world was the greatest title a game could ever have, and I would go on talking about how the next Pokemon, Mario, Kirby, hell, the next fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card, they all needed to be open world. However, recently the words open world have made me feel more heartbroken than I usually do as a die-hard Juice WRLD fan. A couple days back, I finally started playing 2020's critically acclaimed masterpiece Ghost of Tsushima, and that got me thinking. Ghost of Tsushima is an immersive, action open-world RPG that makes use of diverse biomes and environmental storytelling along with its deep combat system and emotional story. Hell, it kinda got me thinking about a couple years back when I played Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time, and I thought to myself that it was an immersive, action open-world RPG that makes use of diverse biomes and environmental storytelling. And of course, when I first played that game, I thought to myself, this is kinda like Elden Ring, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and is an immersive, action open-world. Okay, we get the fucking point! Is it just me, or have open world games gone from being a subgenre to a title studio slap onto damn near any project for more sales? Hell, how many of y'all remember Monster Hunter Wilds is technically open world? Because I sure as fuck didn't. What's up, people? My name's Josh, and open world games have played like a huge part of my life, okay? I'm not dissing on them with anything I'm saying this. Breath of the Wild is still this day my favorite game ever. It's the game that changed everything for me. I just think that open world games are really like overused, almost to the point of just becoming like a title really in this modern gaming landscape, and they're getting really fucking repetitive. So yeah, that's what I want to discuss. And before I harass y'all, like, subscribe, whatever you know how YouTubers do, let me earn that from y'all. And with all that said, enjoy. It's kind of funny how the least adventurous people in real life are the ones who get so much pleasure from going on these virtual adventures from the comfort of their own couch. But that sentence itself kind of does summarize what people love about open worlds. After all, the greatest stories ever told always tend to be about a grand adventure. One important piece of literature that stands in my mind is one of the most important stories ever written, The Journey to the West, better known to us illiterates as Black Myth Wukong. This is the tale of a scholarly teenage mutant ninja monkey traveling across the many lands of China to rid the world of Asian Liluzivert clones. Obviously, if you experience a grand tale like this, you're going to want to make your own tale, in the same way we see ASAP Rocky and think we look good in a damn safety vest. Unfortunately though, we as people living in the bland-ass real world can't go on these epic adventures. And I hate to be the one to tell y'all this, but the One Piece ain't real. So the best way we can do this is by living vicariously through some asshole in our TV. Open worlds offer a greater sense of freedom for the player, so basically choosing where and what you want to do in what order you want to do it adds to the creating your own adventure, and makes it feel more like you're living in it. Some games that do this end up doing it great. Think Elden Ring. Look, I'm by no means one of them batshit insane Soulsborne YouTubers with a mildly foreign accent who says that Elden Ring from software can't do nothing wrong. But I am confident when I say that Elden Ring has one of the greatest open world games of all time and deserves a spot as one of my favorite games of all time. It's completely optional if you want a traditional Souls game, but it can be used to get all kinds of equipment to make your build exactly how you want it. And that itself kind of adds to that whole creating your own adventure thing I talked about. It gives you infinite options for what you want for your build, accessible at damn near any moment of the game. You want to be a weeaboo ass bitch and cosplay whichever master of the blade tickles your fancy? Bet. You want to be a one-shot bonking ass bitch that hates Souls games? Bet. You want to be a gay rights mage who really likes fingering things? Bet. And you have access to all those choices from the minute you step out that tutorial. It also will have no halt on the game's story because every single open zone accessible has one of America's little crack babies. The lands between allows progression in the story through its exploration, and this is the case for a lot of open world games. So on paper, open world games sound great. More freedom and immersion in the most immersive form of media. What could go wrong? Well, in my case, it was the crumbling realization that the monumental accomplishments I had across these sprawling fields and desolate caves that I traversed on my overpriced box of choice take away from the time I'm supposed to be spent hustling to be the next Dr. Mr. Beast. Something I always heard as a kid is when you get older, you don't have as much time to play video games. I never really bought into that because, I went to school 40 hours a week, and I could still play damn near every game I wanted. Then I discovered girls. Then I dropped 300 on some cardboard one night at 3 a.m. Then, as a consequence, I learned working sucks ass, and here I am, a 17-year-old self-proclaimed game critic who hasn't rolled credits in a game since February. But don't worry, I'm getting back into gaming, so let's check out the games that came out last year. Monster Hunter Wilds, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Ass Creed Shadows, Crimson Desert, Ghost of Yotei, Dune Awakening, Mafia the Old Country, Where Winds Meet, and those are just the ones Google AI came up with. I was really excited for summer this year so I could finally play Ghost of Tsushima before Yotei came out. But one car wreck and a shitty job at Chick-fil-A later, it's 2026, and I have anywhere from 60 to 300 hours of Samurai Sword side quests added to my 800-hour backlog, which already includes The Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 1, GTA 5, Nioh 2... Oh yeah, by the way, that one ain't really helping considering Nioh 3 is coming out in a month. It's gonna have one of the greatest combat systems ever, and you guessed it, is open world! You get my issue now? And most of the time, the contents in the worlds are completely unnecessary. I'm using the example of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which has nothing but repetitive side content in a bland open world that wastes time completely, but is also 100% necessary if you want to have any fun with the game's really fun combat system. Ironic how that works out. Look, I completed all the intel in an attempt to get the platinum, and I wish I could erase my memory of it because it actually left a really bad taste in my mouth for what otherwise could have probably been the best game of 2024. It felt so worthless and forced, and while you can make the argument that the original FF7 was open world, yeah, I think you can tell the difference. Yeah, all that to say, it ain't worth 70 hours of your scarce free time riding around on rubber ducks snorting hard drives.
Niggas don't want war, I'm a Martian with an army of Spartans, spawn with a knife in the mission.
Recently I did my first run of Silent Hill F, foolishly thinking it was only going to require one playthrough of course. Unfortunately it will be taking longer. But the entire time I was thinking how nice it was knowing where I was going was right, and that killing random insignificant looking innocent blob of flesh wasn't going to change the story that majorly. Simply, linear doesn't mean bad, and many games are at their best when exploration can't halt progression. This goes for Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy, Monster Hunter, Mario. Hell, even Zelda, we forget, was around for 20 years before Breath of the Wild came along and made it open world, and hell, Majora and Twilight Princess are up there with BOTW as one of the GOATs in the series. In fact, dungeons that, used to be the main point of Zelda were 10 times better in these games. Don't get me wrong, that ain't no diss on Breath of the Wild, that's hands down my favorite game ever. Really, the point I'm trying to make is that for every Breath of the Wild, there's at least 2 Resident Evil Requiems that do not need to be open world, and unfortunately, I think that the corporate stamp of greed is influencing younger generations that are starting to develop their own games, make the people that are trying to express their artistic visions through gaming use an unnecessary gimmick to tell their story simply to get more sales. But hey, as is well established, yin and yang still have a very toxic relationship, and one side of any argument can use the exact opposite wording to frame people as being a hater. In this case, people is me! And if you disagree with me, that's fine. Personally, I want to get a girlfriend soon, but if you're more concerned about fucking Magic Sword, Kingdom Quest 3 or whatever, more power to you. My only request is don't get a job at Capcom and make Devil May Cry 6 a big, long, 400-hour RPG. I don't need that. And, there's the part of the video where I ask if y'all enjoyed, please subscribe. Or if y'all didn't, please give me advice in the comments below. I don't want to live a boring life. I really want this to be something one day. And mark my words, it is. And with all that being said, Jesus loves you, I love you, and Joshua out. Peace out. That's so fucking cringe. You